Right, so Charlie and I were just talking about this, calling for tax reform stat. Investors say it is the key to boosting S&P earnings this year, making reform imperative. Pacer ETF's President Sean O'Hara, look, Charlie and I were saying we got to see proof in the pudding. You spin it forward. Imagine that we do see tax reform. What should we be buying now in advance of that?
Well, first off, let's understand it's already baked in. The trailing 12-month earnings on the S&P is 170. It's currently trading 18 times 130. And so the articles I read and the research I get say that tax reform is probably worth 20 to 25% on earnings. So if we don't get it, that's a bad sign. If we do get it, I think you want to look at companies that generate a lot of free cash flow yield because they're going to be the ones that benefit the most. If we lower their taxes, they'll have more things that they can do with that money, pay dividends, buy back stock, acquire companies. It's one of the reasons why we just launched a whole series of what we call cash cows indexes. We love that theory. And so we have a U.S. version, which goes under the ticker COWS, and a global version, which is GCOW. And so one stock that's in both portfolios, interestingly enough, is Cisco. So $12.5 billion worth of free cash flow, 3.5% dividend yield. They are growing their dividends at over 17.5 times, and they are right smack in the middle of the Internet of Things, if you will.
Okay, so you got Cisco. What else fits into that cash cow that's going to be an animal that moves for somebody's portfolio?
I'll give you a surprising group. The airlines right now, I mean, they screened into our product, and they would not be normally, they're not exactly investor favorites. Nobody likes the airlines.
They're scary.
I've been flying for 30 years. I can tell you, I used to know which flights went out empty and which ones were full, and I could pick my seat where I had the whole row. Today, I haven't been on a flight in 5 years that hasn't been completely full. And the estimate is that passenger uptake is going to go up by about 7.6%. So if they get that passenger growth, then all of a sudden they look like a decent play as well.
Sean, are we going to see tax reform this year? All I heard last year and the year before was both Republicans and Democrats want it, and we didn't get it.
There are 16 guys that he got laid to waste, giving this guy no credit, Mr. Trump, President-elect Trump. They took him too lightly. They didn't give him a shot. I wouldn't bet against him. He may not get exactly what he wants, but he'll get a deal done. And so we'll see how big a deal that gets done, how big a deal ultimately gets done, and that'll determine whether.
And will that get us to Dow 20,000? Because we're not seeing it now as we come up against the closing bell.
Perhaps.
Oh yeah, way to take a
save your hat. I'll make a hat like yours. We'll come wear them in together when it gets to 20,000.
We'll rip the duct tape off the number once it happens.